These mats are true equality. There is no racial divide, there is no gender gap, there is no economic barriers to you and I being on these mats together, enjoying what this good gift in creation is. As we simulate hand-to-hand combat and try to respectively murder each other, if you will, in the most respective, non-violent way possible, which I know that sounds strange, a deep, intimate relationship is going to be formed. Maybe just for that moment, maybe we never see each other again, or maybe we spend the next 20 years together, sharing sweat, blood, and tears. In 1993, the very first UFC happened. And they had these dudes that looked like action heroes, right? And then they had this small, skinny guy in a gi. And you had these big dudes in big dude outfits with all the muscles. Within minutes, he was making them submit. And I was sold. I was 14 at the time. In July of 2001, I joined the US Army, going to basic training in August of 2001. September of 2001 rolls around. Changes the trajectory I thought I was going to take. So I served 4 years in the Army. Then I came back to Los Angeles, decided I wanted to do something else. So I moved out here to Arizona for school. A few months in, I met my beautiful wife, and we have 3 beautiful children. We've been involved in several businesses since then. About 2018, I'd say, I really felt the call of the Lord to pursue theological education. I didn't really know what that looked like. Through a lot of searching and through the church I was at the time, found about MTC and sat in with the class with Dr. Goheen. They were teaching about Paul at the time. I think it was Letter to the Corinthians. And I just got the sense that this is what theological education was supposed to be. And so, yeah, I was all in. I applied, got accepted. 4 years later, find myself walking the stages at Calvin, so. MTC is a unique atmosphere. You sit in a living room and you're just getting this world-class education from a world-class theologian, world-known theologian. And it's like sitting there, I mean, at the time I was going, this is what Paul did. He sat in small houses. He sat in things like this. This is where the church was built on. This is where theological education originated. Part of the underlying education, part of the pedagogy of MTC is this neo-Calvinist view. And I was really starting to get a comprehension of this idea of a missional business. Like, what does it mean to open a business that's ultimate goal isn't profit, but it's to serve the Lord, and you serve the Lord by serving people. So what would it look like if we did Jiu Jitsu different? If Jesus is redeeming all the world and all the cosmos, then he's redeeming Jiu Jitsu too. So what was started in combat is going to end up in new creation, free of sin, free of this. So what does that look like, and how do I live into that now? As soon as we decided we're going to start this business for the sake of the community and the gifts that we've seen in Jiu Jitsu, the way that it affects our life, the way that it has helped us to raise our kids, to overcome struggles, to overcome anxieties, the way we've seen it build relationships between broken parents and kids even, we want to see that magnified, and we want to be a host for that. And so, we pray over it and we ask that that's what developed. And so this is all a worldview that I was learning at MTC. What does it mean to live into the true story of the world in all aspects of your life? Jiu-Jitsu works its way to America from Japan through Brazil. And so for a while, a common term is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for this. So the Brazilians have a term in Brazilian Portuguese called resenha. And the best of my understanding of the translation is after you've expended all your energy, you've grappled, you've sweat, you're just covered in your opponent's sweat, and they're sweating all over you, and you've played this intense game, there's just this openness in your heart. You've let those barriers down. All the world's cares, they're out there. All the things that are off the mat are off the mat. It's just you and your partner in this intimate, violent, non-violent relationship or state of play or whatever that is. And so that moment of resenha, you'll find more and more people, especially when you establish a place like this that says, no, Jesus is the truth and the true story of the world, more and more people start asking more and more questions. And that was the goal of what I was understanding from my education. What is the church supposed to be? The church is supposed to be a place where that happens, where people show up and something just compels them to go, I like what I see. I want to be part of that. What is it in you that I'm seeing? And so when people have that, we say, well, that's Jesus, right? And so we try to model that as a lighthouse in this community. I went to seminary thinking I'd plant a church because I thought that's what I was being called to do. I ended up owning a Jiu Jitsu school in which, out of this vision of I want to affect change in the community I'm in with the gifts God has given me and the worldview that I've come to understand because of this master's degree, feeling God's call to now, okay, host a Bible study, okay. People from now outside this community are saying, well, all right, like, can I be part of your church? And well, I don't really have a church. It's God's church, and I don't know what this is. The church should be an organic institution of the people to the best of its ability in the 21st century, but it has to be able to contextualize in a way that makes sense to the people of the 21st century. The education and worldview that I got from MTC is irreplaceable. I've said this quote to Mike Goheen after I graduated. It's attributed to Mark Twain. It says the two most important days of your life are the day you're born and the day you figure out why. Going through that master's degree program helped me realize why I was born. I was born for the mission of God, and I was born to fulfill my role in an active, participant way. Don't give up on all those things that led you here, because I thought I had to step away completely. MTC helped me see that, like, these passions God has given me are for a reason. And, you know, that was worth the price of admission, as they say. Yeah.